I've been covering Ragnarok as a series now for over a year, so make sure to subscribe if you enjoy chapter reviews, what if battles, explain videos and much more to come. What's up guys, welcome to my Ragnarok chapter 48 review. Before I begin, take note this month 2 chapters came out, meaning chapter 49 is also out. The Raws are out however, not the English translation for 49, so expect the review for that once it's released. And be wary of spoilers in the comments because some insane shit does happen for chapter 49, but I won't mention any of that in today's 48 review. Also a reminder that all links for Raws and English translations are posted in the Discord when released. Now let's begin the very solid chapter of 48, with it being fully focused on the fight between Zero and Buddha, the chapter we've all been waiting for. Absolute hype, let's begin. The chapter begins with us seeing Buddha and Zero clashing weapons. They seem to be quite equal in raw power where they clash here. Then we have Zero going for another strike, telling him to, go to hell, but Buddha's able to dodge that attack. And then we see Zero actually transforming his weapon again. We see him kinda ripping it apart somewhat, and he did kinda go for a ranged attack on Buddha prior to that. But yeah, it's very clear that Zero can change his weapon and Buddha can just create a new weapon from his, base weapon with his ability, which is pretty cool. And we see this, new weapon from Zero here with this double-sided blade, long stretchy weapon thing. I don't know how to explain it too much, but yeah, it looks pretty cool. Zero looks pretty cool. Then we have Buddha realizing that his current weapon isn't going to fare too well against Zero's new weapon. So he, uses his 6 realms, staff thing again to transform his weapon into this one on screen here, which does look pretty cool as well. And I do enjoy these two changing weapons so much to counter one another or to keep the battle going, which is great. And then we have them two clashing again with their new weapons. Again, seem to be quite equal raw strength wise, but Buddha very clearly isn't trying too hard. He's more so just chilling and following the flow with Zero, which results in them being kinda equal in, clashing ability. Just them bouncing around everywhere, all the spectators very engaged with this fight. And then of course, Buddha pulls out his future vision again to easily dodge one of Zero's attacks, working his way to be one of the best abilities in the series as Buddha keeps using it to completely negate any strike that, Zero's trying to use on him with, Buddha now being in the sky. Thanks to his future vision, Buddha got the edge on Zero. Zero getting raged even more, trying to land strikes, but still can't even hit a single blow on Buddha. Buddha at this point is still kinda toying with him now spinning his weapon around in circles, being able to block any attacks from Zero, which kinda freaks Zero out, and then lands a direct strike cutting up Zero's chest, with him coughing up blood and blood going everywhere from that slash from Buddha. So Buddha, still being an absolute mad lad, is able to dodge pretty much every strike from Zero or block every strike, and then easily able to land his own strike on him. And of course, after landing this blow, this causes Zero to get even more enraged, or his misery to, rise again. As we know, Zero's power source is his misery, so the more misery he has, the more power he has, and he's demonstrated this throughout the fight. And him getting slashed and clowned on by Buddha throughout the whole fight so far is just resulting in Zero to get stronger and stronger. So he's pretty much screaming, he's changing his weapon again. Please, I beg you, be gone from this world. And his weapon transforms into the following: Misery Storm, Cleaver Formation. So his weapons turn into these various blades that are going to now chase Buddha around. Very overpowered in my opinion. So we see Buddha, saying, man, your puberty is just way too fun. Don't worry. We have Buddha again changing his weapon. Every time Zero gets more misery and changes his weapon, Buddha uses his ability to change his own weapon to show, his adaptability to be pretty incredible with his new little sword here. Now he's pretty much dodging all of these crazy blade based attacks from Zero and, countering them with his small blade, with goal saying the following: the Cleaver's blades are going after Buddha, and then with Buddha just running around, we see the amount of damage these blades are actually doing to the arena and ground and everything around it. So if these actually do hit someone, they will definitely cut and do a pretty decent amount of damage, which does make, Zero pretty overpowered for people who rather tank than dodge. Like imagine Hercules just having all these blades piercing through him, Zero could absolutely roll someone like Hercules. He's more so getting countered by Buddha's future vision and insane speed, of course, but Buddha is getting close to these blades but still barely being able to dodge them, and we see that some of these blades are actually almost hitting the people spectating, showing how Zero has pretty much lost his mind at this point, doesn't really care, and is just fully focusing on killing or destroying Buddha. And then we do see a set of blades actually heading straight for some people who are, you know, spectating from humanity's side. And Buddha, of course, the absolute mad lad, jumps up and pretty much blocks the blades from hitting any spectators with this, you know, glorious smile on his face, as some of the spectators notice. So Buddha, being an absolute mad lad, yet again, I say this in every video, Buddha is this, you know, too good of a dude. We get to see the 3 other sages again. I forgot what 2 of their names were, but of course Jesus there, and of course Jesus hasn't said anything so far in the story. I don't think we'll ever get any words from Jesus to, you know, prevent uproar from various people who don't even read the manga like we're getting with the, you know, Hindu Shiva fans at this point. So Jesus is most likely just going to chill there, appear in a few panels, but never going to say anything, in my opinion. We'll have to see what happens with that, but that's my thoughts on that. Buddha begins, you know, destroying all of Zero's blades and making his way closer and closer to Zero, with him saying, "Hot damn, your puberty is awesome, Zero." So Buddha is just having all this fun fighting Zero while Zero's in this, you know, kill intent rage mode. He's able to break through all the blades from, you know, the blade storm that Zero just created. And again, Zero is just getting more enraged, how he can't hit him, can't do anything as Buddha, how he's getting clowned on. And how ever since, you know, we saw in his backstory, it's always been Buddha who's, you know, giving him this misery and makes him scream out again. Why won't anyone look at me for once, as everyone is cheering for Buddha at this point, or, you know, the large majority of people that Zero can actually hear are cheering for Buddha rather than Zero, as we know Zero in his backstory has always been jealous of Buddha, and that's, you know, a main reason why they are fighting here. And then, you know, Buddha's, you know, top tier one-shot lines as always. One is truly one's own master. Of course, Zero doesn't understand this. Zero, you gotta love yourself. And that's, you know, what Buddha's doing, telling Zero to love himself. Again, he's, you know, corrupted by his misery, doesn't understand what Buddha's saying. And, you know, they clash again. Buddha says, "You know what, Zero, I really like you." Again, Zero doesn't understand, "You like me, I can't love." He doesn't understand, quit giving half-assed answers. And then he looks at Buddha, this smiling with this, you know, beaming light surrounding him, and that pretty much shocks Zero to his core, actually gets through. Oh, so that's how it was. I finally get it. I always wanted to be just like him. As we know, he may have thought he hated Buddha, but it was actually him admiring Buddha. I wanted to be loved by everybody. We see that his cleaver or his weapon has completely disappeared at this point because due to, you know, Zero finally realizing what's going on the whole time, his misery has completely disappeared, which was his source of power. We have Ares freaking out because he's now unarmed, and we see that Zero is now back to his original self before all this corruption and misery took over him. Buddha also gets rid of his weapon and says, "Now, why don't we pick it up where we left off with him now going to fight Zero in a hand-to-hand fist fight." We got, yeah, Buddha charging him, so now they're having a friendly hand-to-hand fist fight for the climax of the battle. So how about it? Wanna reach enlightenment with me, bud? We see them punching one another, landing a fury of blows on one another, uppercuts landing on Buddha, Buddha landing strikes on Zero, just going back and forth. We get some inner monologue from Zero. "Right now, I'm at the peak of happiness with him crying tears of joy. A fist fight and exchange with everything laid bare. Their cloaks of supposed gods and man cast aside. It was at this moment that Zero was finally redeemed." And we see Buddha landing the supposed finishing blow on Zero, with Zero, you know, knocked down. The commentator saying, "Buddha's full power right straight has knocked Zero out cold." And that is the end of the chapter. I remind everyone, don't spoil anything, or try not to spoil anything from chapter 49 Roars down in the comments, and if you do, I'm warning people who have made this far in this video, there will most likely be spoilers down there, and there are already spoilers talked about in the Discord server, so be aware of that. I don't know when the translation for chapter 49 will be out, hopefully within a few days. can't wait for that. Stay tuned for the review for that. A great chapter and a great supposed end to the fight. We'll see what happens. But yep, as always, shout out to the people who support the channel via the Patreon. Absolute mad lads. But yep, that's it guys. Peace.